game influencers are kind of fraudulent. 'Cause I see that I was like, what? So I want to know what they mean. What do they mean? I'm not a fraud. Oh wait, I'm a cozy streamer, sort of. Wait, am I cozy? Am I a cozy streamer though? Do we like cozy rage? we cozy rage here.
All in all, I still got like basically a free Asia vacation.
What in the late stage capitalist Barbie?
Thank you, Little Sim World.
I want to keep my values intact.
But I have decided to quit the Infinite Nikki creator program.
These big content creators
I like her microphone said hamster buttocks.
choosing to stay silent is honestly speaking volumes.
For sponsoring today's video.
It's giving criminal behavior.
Clap if you think she should suffer.
I don't regret it at all. I wouldn't go back and change it, even knowing how things were going to turn out.
Influencers of all types are kind of the worst, but in the gaming space, I think the award for the most out-of-touch influencers definitely goes to the cozy game content creators.
Cozy games. Cozy games.
Cute and cozy games.
You're ready. Let's play.
Let's start here with the shit show that is Infinity Nikki.
Infinity
this is
Nikki.
An action-adventure free.
Okay, wait, I'm confused because wasn't this like super popular? This game came out and everyone was talking about Infinity Nikki. And like, it's beautiful, and look at that absolutely gorgeous outfit.
To play cozy game with an emphasis on playing dress up, and it's really popular. It got like 20 million downloads in its first week.
Holy
it has
crap.
a very active community, and I've heard people all over social media raving about this game. It's also currently in the midst of a crisis. On April 29th, Infinity Nikki made its grand debut on Steam with a brand new update.
Infinity Nikki version 1.5.
And it nearly killed the game. Not only did this update introduce a ton of new bugs and performance issues and completely change the lore of the game, which a lot of players are very upset about, the publisher used this opportunity to ramp up the game's monetization to insane levels. The
Of course they did. 'Cause money! Seems chances are if something got super popular overnight or otherwise fairly quickly, it may be a red flag. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, puts into question how it got there in the first place. Oh god, how did they destroy their... how to destroy your game in one update.
Transactions have gone from bad to worse.
Let me guess, microtransactions for outfits.
Items increasing by 200%.
This is actually illegal in my country.
They also added a bathtub that cost $70.
They decided they were going to introduce a $70 bathtub into the cash shop.
And I literally cannot believe the words coming out of my own mouth, but apparently there are now outfits in the game that cost over $400 real dollars to buy. What in the late-stage capitalist Barbie is going on? One user on Steam called the new update
I get a puke. $400 for a freaking outfit in a game?
fraudulent. Another wrote that they're ashamed to recommend the game to anyone. And a different player said, I wouldn't want to subject someone to the psychological damage this game does. But
wow. Oh, that's disgusting. People ask if their favorite free-to-play game takes Klarna, Afterpay, or Affirm. Yes, well, I want this $400 dress in the game, so I'll just get it now and then make payments for it. I think I remember seeing League of Legends having a $500 skin. Oh my god, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Everyone be Mr. Krabs out here? What kind of money do you think I got? I don't know, man. I wish I had that kind of money. That would be nice. Makes me wonder how many people actually finance that stuff. You know what? I actually would not be surprised if there are a lot of people that do. Because it's very easy to just see something that you really want, and then it has the option for get it now and then pay over time, which then your brain tells you, oh, well, I can afford to pay, you know, just like $50 a month or whatever for it.
But things get even messier. When disgruntled players took to social media and started speaking about organizing a boycott of the game, the publisher literally blacklisted the word boycott from the game's official Discord, and they even started banning people who criticized the update. Oof. Hence why fans started using the term girlcott, which is actually kind of badass now that I think about it.
Women's stories matter. Yeah. Right. They just matter. Yeah.
Honestly, seeing players band together and protest a
Oh my god, that's so freaking funny. Well, if they banned boycott, we'll just call it a girl caught.
ass company like this, I've never been more proud. Even though the publisher released this half-assed apology, the game still has a ton of problems and a lot of players still feel like their complaints aren't being heard. And some of them have started pointing fingers at popular Infinity Nikki content creators. Obviously, the company that makes this game should take the brunt of the blame for this whole disaster of an update. But I also believe content creators have an obligation to speak up on behalf of their audience and the communities they represent. On Reddit, one user wrote, "I'm disappointed by the lack of boycott acknowledgement by the Infinity Nikki YouTube creators I watch." Another user wrote, "I haven't seen larger creators join the cause and help this community fight for a resolution, and that the game's content creators fail to stand with the community and use their platform for change." In another post, a user drew parallels to Sims 4 content creators who constantly promote the game while ignoring problems with quality and monetization. But first, I do want to give some praise to a couple Infinity Nikki content creators, because as someone who has covered the shilling of other video games like The Sims, I've seen more integrity on display from some of these Infinity Nikki content creators than I've ever seen from influencers in the EA Creator Network. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
So I've decided to step away from any official affiliations simply because I don't want to represent anything that doesn't align with my own values or morals.
Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a little bit more of a difficult video for me to make, but I have decided to quit the
Hamster buttocks!
Infinity Nikki Creator Program.
These are two smaller creators who were in the Infinity Nikki Creator Program who actually decided to leave because they did not want to be associated with the greedy ass company that was screwing over players like themselves and their viewers. But what about the larger content creators, the ones with hundreds of thousands of subscribers? Well, this is where we start to see some true colors on display. What's so interesting is that prior to all this drama, Infinity Nikki hosted a live stream where a bunch of content creators were brought in to hype the fuck out of this disastrous update.
Hello, stylists. Welcome to our preview live stream for Infinity Nikki version 1.5.
They even brought in a popular Infinity Nikki content creator with 800,000 subscribers here on YouTube to co-host the event.
Our special guest for today's live stream.
Hello, stylists. I am Dish.
7 days after this live stream, that influencer made a video.
I put my face on this update. I put my seal of approval on this update.
I bet she feels terrible, right? Well, in a separate video on our podcast channel, she said this.
I put my face on the update, and to be very clear, I do not regret doing that. I don't regret it at all. I wouldn't go back and change it, even knowing how things were going to turn out.
So while fans of the game, people who spent hundreds or thousands of dollars on Infinity Nikki, were organizing this boycott, this influencer came out and said that she had no regrets about working with the company that is literally screwing players over. But it gets worse.
All in all, I still got like basically a free Asia vacation.
Because she went on to gloat about this free trip to China that was paid for by the game's publisher.
Flying out to Shanghai, that was always something that I kind of hoped for.
What the hell?
Wow. Screw my community. I got a trip to Asia. Fudge all of y'all. Hello, Real Noir. She got paid lots of money to have her face on it. Yeah. Look. I understand if you need the money, okay? But, like, to literally sit there and be like, well, I got a free Asia trip out of this, guys, so fudge you. Oh my God. Cash out culture for real. Money. Money. Oh my gosh.
had like a 5-day period where I was just free to do anything. They agreed to fly both me and Joshua out so that I wouldn't have to be there alone.
Wow.
So I just was so grateful, and I could not have imagined a more perfect opportunity to go.
You better be joking.
Basically like 5 years of effort. And my decision to be somewhat devoted and to put my hope in Infinity Nikki.
How out of touch could you be?
Yeah, I got you. I got you on camera.
This is not the time or place to be bragging about your free influencer trip.
Literally, like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this, because can I really blame someone for wanting freaking free all expenses paid trip? But like, you have a responsibility to your community to like call out like, don't promote stuff to your community that you don't that you don't support. Like, what the heck? I just my brain cannot comprehend that. Like, you're promoting this thing that is just absolute trash to your community, and then you brag about how you got a free vacation out of it and how amazing it is and this and that, and it's like, okay. Okay. You heard it here, folks. How she hates us, unfollowed. No! No! Bet she also immediately turned around and promoted something similar after that game fell through. Yeah, like, you're just destroying the trust your community has in you.
While people are getting screwed over by the
Holy.
company that paid for that trip. This is exactly why people hate influencers. And the weird thing is, she almost seems like she's proud of essentially being in this game company's pocket. She literally said it was her dream to be sent to China and that it was a 5-year effort. Your dream is to be a shill for a company? What? This influencer is in their creator program. She was flown out to Shanghai. She got an all expenses paid trip. She got to wear this gown. Beautiful gowns. I think this serves as a warning to influencers who go out of their way to shill for game companies. You will be caught in the crossfires when things go wrong. It is not a content creator's job to work with game publishers or developers. No one's forcing them to do that. I can kind of speak on this as a creator in the gaming space. I get emails all the time from game studios asking me to make sponsored content. Coincidentally, just weeks ago, I was contacted about a game called Love in Deep Space, and that game is made by the same developer as Infinity Nikki. Now, I like talking shit about shitty games, so I have never, nor will I ever, do sponsorships for video games, but I can confidently say, based on my experience working with other brands, that these bigger influencers like Dish are making thousands of dollars per video for their sponsored Infinity Nikki content. So to the people on Reddit who are asking, why are the bigger content creators not saying anything? It's because they don't care about your boycott or your girl caught, because they're too caught in the pockets of the company that makes Infinity Nikki. And those pockets are deep and cozy. But I want to move on because there's something else happening in the cozy game space that's really bothering me, and best believe Big Cozy doesn't want me talking about this. Just last week, 2 brand new life simulation games were released. The first was 2 Pixelia, and the second was Little Sim World. Besides both of them being life sim games made by indie studios, these 2 games are very different.
I have Little Sim World, I think, on my list, don't I? Yeah, I do. I only played 2 Pixelia, though. I love it. And, like, yeah, there was, like, a lot of bugs and stuff that came with the release, but they have been, putting out updates like crazy.
So is the marketing strategy for these games. Because while Little Sim World is technically an indie game, it's not so indie that they couldn't afford to sponsor a bunch of YouTubers.
And Little Sim World is sponsoring this video today. Thank you, Little Sim World.
This video is sponsored by Little Sim World.
For sponsoring this video.
To sponsor this video.
Ah, yes. So then they gave all the love to Little Sim World and nothing to Pixelia. Wow.
for sponsoring today's video.
They are kindly sponsoring this video.
For sponsoring today's
well,
video.
I like
Damn,
2Pixelia
these
and I
indie games must
highly
have
recommend
insane
it.
influencer marketing budgets. So while Little Sim World got a ton of coverage due to the sponsored content, I couldn't find any sponsored content for 2Pixelia. And to be honest, seeing this go down made me feel kind of sad. If you don't know, 2Pixelia is made by one person. This guy's worked on the game for like 5 years, and the marketing budget for the game seemed pretty non-existent. So clearly, the playing field isn't even. And the sad part is, some of these creators happily took a check from Little Sim World and didn't even bother to recognize the other life sim game that was released on the same day. A game that, in my humble opinion, is way better. On a sponsored video for Little Sim World on Cozy K's YouTube channel, one commenter wrote this: "Why give Little Sim World the spotlight and a dedicated video while completely ignoring 2Pixelia, which drops the same day and actually launches as a full release?" And I feel similarly.
Wow.
It sucked to see 2Pixelia, again, a game made by a single person, kind of get overshadowed by Little Sim World, which is a game made by a team of people, all because the latter paid off a bunch of influencers. Cozy K actually replied to this comment by saying she didn't make a video about 2Pixelia because...
Look, obviously, they're going to take the money for Little Sim World. Cool, whatever, sure, do that, but also give some love to 2Pixelia as well. Like, why not?
She had no idea it existed. But I don't know, after seeing the insane amount of paid promo on Cozy K's YouTube channel and TikTok, I'm convinced the reason she didn't know 2Pixelia existed is because they didn't sponsor her. And this really highlights my problem with a lot of cozy game influencers.
Maybe a fair point.
More often than not,
She
these
didn't know it
people will
existed.
praise whatever game writes them a check and pay dust to the ones that don't. Maybe it is because
there's no money to be made playing 2Pixelia. Yeah. That's the more likely scenario. Whether she knew, whether these people know that the game existed or not, they're gonna play Little Sim World instead because they're making money from it. I don't know. I enjoyed playing 2Pixelia, and I kind of hope to play it on stream again. I mean, I haven't because we're playing Dave the Diver and Expedition 33 right now, but I also haven't because they, like I said, they've been releasing a ton of updates, like almost on a weekly basis. Like, yeah, a weekly basis they've been releasing updates for 2Pixelia. So I kind of want to wait it out, and then maybe the game will be more in a finalized state when we finally get back to it on stream. They may have agreed not to make content on similar games. Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess that could be true as well. Little Sim World maybe was like, oh, not specifically don't promote 2Pixelia, but something along those lines, like, oh, don't play any other life sims right now during this sponsor. That's true.
There's so many cozy games constantly being released, and therefore there's more paid promo going around within this niche, but the way these cozy gamers operate feels so slimy. Let me give you an example. Popular cozy gamer Mad Morph was sponsored by Little Sim World,
and this video is sponsored by Little Sim World.
Weeks ago, he was sponsored by Inzoi, or at the very least received a free copy of the game. And just last month, he was also sponsored by a photography simulator.
And this video is sponsored by Annapurna.
So does he really enjoy these games, or is he just playing them to get his bag?
That's a good question.
It's kinda hard to tell, especially since Homeboy here somehow always fails to mark his videos as paid promotion when he's getting sponsored. Isn't that like illegal? It's crazy how often I see content creators, especially within the cozy gaming niche, fail to disclose their videos as paid promotion either here on YouTube or on TikTok. This is not only your legal obligation in most jurisdictions, it's also your ethical responsibility as a content creator. Whether it's Infinity Nikki or Little Sim World, I think it's evident that the cozy game genre has an influencer marketing problem. It's hard to find anyone whose opinions you can fully trust that isn't getting paid by game studios or in a partner program. In my last video about cozy games,
I don't know if I could honestly play something on stream, even for a sponsor, if I just purely did not like the game, because like that just sounds miserable. Like, not only would I be miserable while I'm playing it on stream, like forcing myself to play this game, but like I feel like you guys would be able to tell, like, oh my god, she hates this. Like, what's the point? Like, promote things that you like. What the heck?
A few people in the comments recommended
Yeah, they're breaking the law
creators
by saying it's not a paid promotion.
they believe are fair and balanced. One of those
Fiona.
creators actually made a video where he compared both Little Sim World and 2Pixelia. And at the end, he gave his recommendation for which game he likes more. The kicker is, he had previously been sponsored by one of those games, but not the other.
The developers reached out to let me play early. They are kindly sponsoring this video.
So pop quiz everybody, which game do you think this creator enjoyed more? The one that gave him money or the one that didn't?
Yeah,
I have a slight preference for Little Sim World right
now.
now.
Okay.
Don't leave it at that.
Okay, obviously. I mean, obviously he likes Little Sim World more. He was paid to say that. But deep down, he probably enjoyed 2Pixelia more. I believe. That's what I believe. Probably. That's the problem is now you don't know. Because now you're like, well, he was paid. Yeah, the one that gave him money. But does he really like that one more? Or is he only just saying that because they paid him to say that? Now you don't know. So now you have to go try and find someone who has an unbiased opinion